Bob measured the drift.
Oh, he measured the drift that Dan's not showing. So now we're back to, why hasn't Dan shown this 15 degrees now drift then? Is he talking about something that's not drift?
Said in the chat he believes in drift.
That's lovely. Why isn't he showing it?
Right.
Wow.
You're misrepresenting.
So why ain't he demonstrating it?
I'm misrepresenting him. It's on screen. Every time you say I'm misrepresenting him, you complete idiot. No, the demonstration on screen for the audience that recognises your projection is that the guy's not drifting. Now, Rumpus has confirmed, apparently Bob proved drift. And apparently Dan believes in the drift. But he's not showing drift, is he? It's on screen. Oh, what, I'm misrepresenting him. No, it's on screen. There it is, no drift. Plain and simple. Dan's showing no drift.
Yeah, SciManDan proved the Earth is stationary. Thanks, SciManDan.
The video has got nothing to do with drift.
Oh,
Rumpus,
right, thanks again.
Rumpus.
Yeah, this example from Dan has got nothing to do with drift.
So did SciManDan disprove, basically falsify Bob's supposed proof for the rotation of the Earth?
Yes, he did. That's correct, Darwin. Bob's claiming Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour with 2 reference frames. Dan saying reference frames ruined and showing an example without drift to justify why there isn't any. So these two stand in total contradiction of one another. And when we have Rumpus come in to defend it, his defence is, Dan does believe in drift. Now let's talk about something that isn't drift quickly, because he's not showing it.
Yep.
Where's Dan? Where's Dan telling us that it's conservation of momentum that this example is, and therefore flying in the face of Neil deGrasse Tyson precisely as I've asserted? If he asserts that things conserve momentum of a spinning Earth, then the ball wouldn't drift from the stand as asserted by Neil deGrasse Tyson. That was my original claim, and I stand by it. It's absolutely in contradiction to Neil deGrasse Tyson to show an example and claim reference frames ruined and show no drift. He's saying conservation of momentum. Fine. Okay. So you're saying there's no drift, Dan? Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson says that something leaves a football field and Earth turns underneath it, moving the goalposts. So the field goal's made because Earth turns underneath. And the observation is called Coriolis effect. You're saying reference frames used by Neil deGrasse Tyson in that example are ruined. And then you're showing that there isn't any drift. This is an example of things not drifting, like Neil deGrasse Tyson says the ball drifted at 15 degrees an hour. So we're still in the same position. Your slimy lawyering, Rumpus, didn't work. Dan's still fucked.
If he doesn't have
Scaredy
his
cat,
script, he
Nathan.
doesn't know what to say.
You're a scaredy cat, Nathan.
In chat. And then he
Rumpus,
got for no reason.
Rumpus, why you seem mad nervous about this little nonsense that SciManDan has displayed? Because he's not displaying any drift, but that's the whole point, right? He's supposed to be showing drift. So why you seem so nervous? Like you're like his lawyer defending him now. What's going on? This is a problem for you guys?
I mean, he's either a liar or
He's
stupid
dead.
or both.
His model's dead.
Completely ignored you.
Rumpus,
Completely
Rumpus,
ignored you.
hello?
Started calling me a liar. Completely ignored you, Chocolate.
I said you were lying or misrepresenting, one of the two.
See, told you. Completely ignored you.
Well,
Why is SciManDan not showing drift is the
people
question.
A liar? When you're
Why-
a demonstrated liar?
Yeah, from a demonstrated liar.
Predicting, son.
Yeah, projecting his lies onto us, yeah. So I think Chocolate's got a point. He's asked a direct question. Why are you here defending SciManDan? Why can't SciManDan defend himself? Is this a big problem for you guys? This little cluster screw you've got of convolution being destroyed, obviously a big problem, right?
You're a scaredy cat.
Scaredy cat is not a response to why you're here white-knighting for the second time in a row for SciManDan, who's not showing drift. Now, you've said SciManDan believes in drift, and now, just like before, he's not listening to a word I'm saying. When it gets to us bringing it back on the point, he's just fundy-rumpusing the entire Discord server so he doesn't have to address this. That's all he's got now.
Yep.
And he'll come back with scaredy cat, rather than addressing Chocolate. Chocolate's highlighting, this is a problem. You know, you had Coriolis covered with convoluted nonsense until now. Now we're boiling it down. You need 15 degrees adrift. Either you beg the question and say, we assume Earth and atmosphere travel together in the face of multiple directions of surface winds and using a begging the question fallacy. And it doesn't show drift, the actual rhetoric. So no drift in your conservation of momentum claim. So where's the 15 degrees an hour drift then in your conservation of momentum? You're going to die by that sword? No bother. And I'll highlight it with Rumpus talking through me the entire time he's here. No bother. No bother at all. I don't mind him not listening to me. He's only here to defend the fact that we're now getting really concise in our demolition of Coriolis. And Dan's the poster child for the lack of drift. There's no drift. Dan's showing it. And Rumpus is here because the man who's claiming it, Dan, is a coward. And he doesn't know what the hell to do. So it needs Rumpus to come in and call me a liar. Not lying. He's not showing drift. Reference frames ruined. Pretty straightforward. You claim 2 reference frames, Earth turning underneath. Coriolis effect drift. No drift. What's that? Dan believes in drift. Now you're going to tell me all about conservation of momentum? That's not drift that Dan apparently believes in when he's sending examples without it. Oh, is that a bit too concise? Maybe a continual stream of interruption while I point that out. Yeah, keep it up, Fundy.
Bob measured the drift.
Oh, he measured the drift that Dan's not showing. So now we're back to why hasn't Dan shown this 15 degrees an hour drift then?
About vegetables, you'll be saying, oh,
vegetables, yeah, off topic, some nonsense, right? So he's just said Bob showed drift. Dan's not showing drift. Thanks, Dan. No drift. Seems your lawyer's here, got your back covered. This is a big problem, Chocolate. I think we should discuss this further.
Did SciManDan disprove, basically falsify Bob's supposed proof for the rotation of the Earth?
Yes, he did. That's correct, Darwin. Bob's claiming Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour with 2 reference frames. Dan saying reference frames ruined and showing an example without drift to justify why there isn't any. So these two stand in total contradiction of one another. And when we have Rumpus come in to defend it, his defence is, Dan does believe in drift. Now let's talk about something that isn't drift quickly, because he's not showing it. So they're screwed, right? They're totally buggered, and they need little lawyer Rumpus to come in and defend Dan.
Yeah, but he says he measured drift.
Yeah, Rumpus, that's why you're so nervous, because Dan ruined his own reference frames. That's what it is, Rumpus.
He believes in drift.
That's exactly why you're here, Rumpus.
Hold on, he's just saying Dan believes in drift.
Reference frames.
Dan believes in drift. Why isn't he showing it? Why isn't there any drift in this video? Why would he be showing something without drift? Is he talking about something that's not drift?
Said in the chat he believes in drift.
That's lovely. Why isn't he showing it?
Right.
Wow.
Why isn't he showing it?
Then, aren't you? When you say he doesn't, you're misrepresenting.
So why ain't he demonstrating it?
I'm misrepresenting him. It's on screen. Every time you say I'm misrepresenting him, you complete idiot. No, the demonstration on screen for the audience that recognises your projection is that the guy's not drifting. Now, Rumpus has confirmed, apparently Bob proved drift. And apparently Dan believes in the drift. But he's not showing drift, is he? It's on screen. Oh, what, I'm misrepresenting him. No, it's on screen. There it is, no drift. Plain and simple. Dan's showing no drift. End of claim of drift. That's it. Simple as that.
Yeah, SciManDan proved the Earth is stationary. Thanks, SciManDan.
Thanks,
We're going to make
SciManDan.
this
No
latest
drift.
rumor.
Thanks,
Rumpus,
Dan.
how many reference frames are you guys supposed to
The
have?
video has got nothing to do with drift.
Oh,
Rumpus,
right, thanks again.
Rumpus.
Yeah, this example from Dan has got nothing to do with drift. Yet you're supposed to have 15 degrees an hour drift. Why is Dan showing us examples without drift and claiming the reference frames you used to claim drift are ruined? Why would your own side say that the necessity for these 2 reference frames and drift are ruined? Now, I would say that definitely needs some fundy lawyering to happen. Because Dan's not going to come in. He's an abject coward in his echo chamber. No one's coming into his show daily, are they? But I have to deal with this fundy, don't I? With him flashing away constantly, not listening to a single word we're saying. But he needs to get his point of view across to the audience without addressing a single word we say. No drift. There it is. Not misrepresenting him. It's plain and simple. It's on screen. Keep showing it every time you claim I'm misrepresenting him, and I'm not. Dan says no drift. Don't have to like it. You do need to deal with it, and that's why you're here. To deal with Dan's error. His egregious error that flies in the face of a claim that needs 2 reference frames. According to Dan, they're ruined. And that 15-degree drift you say Bob proved? Ruined. No drift. Here's my example. It's on screen for my audience. It's from SciManDan. You decide for yourself, audience. Does Dan believe in drift? Where is it? I don't see it. Anyone else on the panel see any drift? Dan believes in it.
I thought he was showing the near conservation of the near.
Misrepresenting him.
Oh, I'm misrepresenting him? No, it's on screen. It's on screen. I'm not misrepresenting him. The audience aren't stupid. They can see no drift. That's blatantly what Dan's sending this me for. He's even saying reference frames ruined. Your reference frames that you claim drift with for a globe Earth that ain't spinning, because there isn't drift. Dan's showing that. No drift. Thanks, Dan.
Well, hold on. Maybe Dan's confused. Wait, Rumpus, can you clear it up for us? How many reference frames do you guys have?
You can have an infinite number if you want.
Oh, so you have frames of reference that you need to assert drift with? Infinite numbers of them? Well, if you've got infinite numbers of reference frame to claim drift, it's actually 2 for Coriolis, but there we go, Rumpus is thick. Why would Dan say that those reference frames have been ruined?
They've been ruined. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Mumble. He said they've been ruined, and this lawyer doesn't know what I'm talking about. Yesterday, this specific quote from Twitter, the words he sent, I didn't understand them as misrepresenting. I've quoted him to him. The reference frames, the infinite ones they use to claim Earth spins, they're ruined. That's Dan's words, lawyer. What you don't know, your client's words.
No, he doesn't know the case either.
You only need 1.
He doesn't know the case either.
Infinite number of them, but we only need 1.
Either.
No, that's wrong. You don't need 1 for Coriolis effect. To have drift, you've got to have 1 that's doing something the other isn't. That's what drift is. In reference from one to the other, you want a spinning reference frame looking at something that isn't spinning with you? Drifting? That's 2 reference frames. You're just thick. Are you alright, QE? 5 years and he still doesn't know what Coriolis is? Yeah, apparent deviation, 2 reference frames. Idiot.
Yep. He's a numpty dipshit shithouse lawyer. He doesn't even know the case.
You don't understand
Greasy
even the
lawyer.
first thing about the Coriolis.
Oh, I do.
Conservation of momentum is. Let's try this since this subject's a belly laugher. Let's try this, Rumpus. You listening, Rumpus?
You think that when something moves, it leaves the
Here, I got a
reference frame,
scenario
and
for
it
you for
doesn't.
conservation of
Does
momentum.
not leave-
Listen.
No, he's going to talk through every word of this. This is
Shut up.
devastating. He's not going to ever talk. He's not stopped since I started pointing out that Dan's not showing drift. Literally, if you watch him in the audience view, this light of Rumpus's hasn't stopped flashing the entire time. He's not listening to a word we say, but he's waiting for his opportunity to put his rhetoric across in defense of Dan's no drift.
The Rumpus. You got a flatbed Ford, right? And you got your buddy.
reference frame.
He's not listening.
Listen.
Not listening.
Okay, just keep him on mute. We'll just do it with the audience. So, Rumpus, you got a flatbed Ford, right? And you got your buddy in the back with a ping pong ball in his hand. And then you get on the interstate and you go 75 miles an hour, right? And then you tell your buddy through the little window in the back, throw that ping pong ball up in the air. We're going to prove conservation of linear momentum. So he throws that ping pong ball up in the air going at 75 miles an hour. Does that ping pong ball land back in his hand? You friggin' numpty dipshit. Over.
No, it doesn't. But they don't claim that anyway. They claim Coriolis deviation at 15 degrees an hour. And then we get someone like Dan saying that you and your reference frames, fundies with globe beliefs and spinning Earth, you and your reference frames have been ruined. And those reference frames are used for a Coriolis deviation claim at 15 degrees. And Dan's showing no drift.
Yeah, I think this was a ruination for their reference frames. And I think Dan really fucked up, which is why Mr. Greasy Lawyer over here had to come in real hot today and yesterday to defend this nonsense. That's what it is, Rumpus.
Use globe salesman.
Rumpus, you're as clear as glass, bro. You're not low about any of this bullshit. You realize that, right?
The moment I put him on mute,
Not-
he put himself on server deafen. In other words, he's here to talk non-stop or not at all. He won't listen to anything under any circumstances.
Yeah, but that speaks volumes that he doesn't even want to listen.
His act was over in 2015 when I drug him around by his short hairs. Go see the debate on my channel between me and Rumpus in 2015. It was over then. It was over before he got here.
No.
Doesn't even know what science is. Second law of thermodynamics doesn't apply to the Earth. The air is not the atmosphere, dipshit. Get out. Go back to the playground. You're an
We do have a geometric horizon. We don't have a geometric horizon.
We do. No, we don't.
Bouncy balls. He supported bouncy balls.
He didn't even understand your illustrations in that debate. He's
Yep.
a moron.
Yep.
Where's Dan? Where's Dan telling us that it's conservation of momentum that this example is, and therefore flying in the face of Neil deGrasse Tyson precisely as I've asserted? If he asserts that things conserve momentum of a spinning Earth, then the ball wouldn't drift from the stand as asserted by Neil deGrasse Tyson. That was my original claim, and I stand by it. It's absolutely in contradiction to Neil deGrasse Tyson to show an example and claim reference frames ruined and show no drift. He's saying conservation of momentum. Fine. Okay. So you're saying there's no drift, Dan? Well, Neil deGrasse Tyson says that something leaves a football field and Earth turns underneath it, moving the goalposts. So the field goal's made because Earth turns underneath. And the observation is called Coriolis effect. You're saying reference frames used by Neil deGrasse Tyson in that example are ruined. And then you're showing that there isn't any drift. This is an example of things not drifting, like Neil deGrasse Tyson says the ball drifted at 15 degrees an hour. So we're still in the same position. Your slimy lawyering rumpus didn't work. Dan's still fucked. And I'm Nathan Oakley and telling him so. Where are you, coward Dan? Still gonna... What? Ponder around your echo chamber with your picture of me behind you? Your little carved bust of me looking down your neck? Yeah, good. I'll look down your neck, my friend. You're not showing any drift. Maybe you should get together with Bob Nodell and point out that, no, mate, things that leave a claim to be spinning Earth don't have the Earth turning underneath them. Reference frames ruined. Right, Dan? Shout out from the hilltops, mate. Your tweet's getting enough exposure for everyone to recognise how thick you are, and I'm proud to tell you so. Thick.
Yep. Sorry.
Go on, Owen.
SciManDan proved the Earth is stationary. Thanks, SciManDan. Thank you.
Thanks, Dan.
Why he didn't send the video to Neil deGrasse? Why he sent it to you?
If for some stupid reason Dan thought they were my reference frames, he phrased it you and your reference frames when tweeting me, not realising that I don't require frames of reference to claim anything. Yet deGrasse Tyson does. He claims drift as things move underneath. You see him drift away. Yet he shows his bouncing man not drifting away from the trampoline moving underneath. Yeah, Neil deGrasse Tyson says Earth moves underneath a ball, though. So that's a big problem. It's going to need some smart lawyering. It's going to need the lawyer to say, yeah, because the priest Tyson says drift. Even though I'm not SciManDan, SciManDan believes in drift. Do you, Dan? You saying that in the comments? Are you for your lawyer? Well, get your ass in here so you can tell us about the conservation of momentum that doesn't give you drift. Tell us all about it. And then I'll point out that this example would be flying in the face of Neil deGrasse Tyson's example, exactly as I asserted. So we're still in the same stalemate. You losing your claim that we've got 15 degrees. Bob, you need to be thanking this dick. So Bob Nodell, get in touch with SciManDan, say thank you to him. Because he's saying no drift.
What he proved on the end, I didn't understand. That we have one reference frame.
Yeah, he proved that the example they used with 2 reference frames, Coriolis deviation, is ruined. That's what Dan proved. Kudos, Dan.
Why he don't try with 4 tractors in different directions?
No. I think he tweeted me thinking that somehow I use reference frames to claim something. And I just pointed out that actually it's Neil deGrasse Tyson claiming the antithesis of what he's showing. That's a big problem. You're a big fundy globe proponent, and yet you're completely defying the rhetoric of the priests. That's going to be a problem. Embarrassing, Dan. Wow, devout heliocentrist there. Telling me no drift. Telling me conservation momentum. But you do believe in drift. You believe in it, right, Dan? Shame you're not showing it. Shame it's actually an example of no drift. When you believe in it. How do my balls taste, Dan? Salty.
SciManDan is like if someone's in the World Cup final and it's the last 2 minutes and he scores an own goal.
So we have problem in the ranks. Is that what I'm hearing now?
Yeah.
That's
yes,
cute.
Chocolate, you are.
I didn't hear it, Chocolate. What did you say?
I said, so apparently we're having a problem in the ranks, because if SciManDan is in the chat going against what Rumpus is saying, but Rumpus isn't here thinking he's defending SciManDan, oh, there's a problem in communication somewhere. Uh-oh.
And I am moaning about it. I think it would be justified that since you were talking continuously about him, yeah, and of course he should come in. It's a bit of a pussy call, right, not to come in. Or I mean,
Rumpus, ask Nathan if he can calculate the drift of the man with only 3 seconds in the air. So again, if Dan's asking me whether or not I would calculate drift in the guy, so again, Dan, I don't claim anything that uses reference frames. You claim drift, and my question isn't, would I expect to see drift in this guy not drifting? It's, why have you sent it to me to demonstrate that there isn't any drift when your claim that's supposed to be proving we spin on a spherical Earth has 15 degrees an hour drift? So my question to you is, do you expect me to see drift in the 3 seconds if that's what you're claiming? So I don't really understand still, Dan. Why would you send it me? Is it so that I can analyse it for the very, very tiny drift that's not being shown? That makes absolutely no sense. It seems like you're showing no drift in this example, Dan. Am I missing something? Let's see if I can find any more messages from him.
no, that was about it. Yeah, maybe there's one more. This is Ace.
What coward, asking Rumpus to ask me something. I run a public show. Says, of course I believe drift, Rumpus. Not my fault. You didn't understand the video. According to Dan now, he believes in drift. So what's this video for? He's still saying you don't understand the video. That's his reply. That's what I put out as the comment response reply, right? I don't understand the video. No, I don't, when you're supposed to be claiming drift, and this video does not show that.
Well, there's the break in the ranks, because Rumpus said he was clearly demonstrating conservation of linear momentum, not drift.
Well, he doesn't say he's demonstrating drift, he says he believes in drift. So what is he saying? That he shows this guy not drifting, but in his mind he's believing that he is drifting? Is that what he's saying? So, Dan, is this example for me to be telepathic and appreciate that you're showing me something that appears to not drift, but you believe it is? Is that what it's for? Is this demonstration of your belief that we have drift when we don't have any? Oh, I figured it out. Dan believes in drift, but yet there isn't any. And here's him showing that there isn't any, in spite of his belief in drift. That's wonderful, Dan. So, despite there being no drift, as exampled here, you still believe there is. Wow, that's great. I'm glad we cleared that up. Dan believes in drift, but he'll be damn sure to show you that there isn't any. Yeah, they like reversing the burden of proof. Would you expect to see 0.3 degree drift in the 3 seconds? No, this isn't my claim. I don't use reference frames to claim anything. Do I expect it? No, I don't expect anything. It's your claim. You tell me what I'm expected to see in your example for your claim that would involve 15 degrees of drift if you're referencing the frames that you need for the drift. So would I expect to see something in it? No, it's not my claim. Dan still maintains his idiocy and burden of proof. Reversal. No, not my claim, Dan. How many times? I wouldn't expect anything in an example you're making.
It's funny because he says, "Course, I believe the drift, the rumpus. Not my fault. He didn't understand the video." So maybe there's drift in the video that we didn't see. Is that it?
Dan needs to explain. Are we supposed to see drift in this then? Is this supposed to be an example of the drift he believes in that doesn't exist? Great example of the drift you believe in, but isn't there, Dan? Is that what you're trying to tell us? I didn't understand that you believe in drift. Oh no, I did understand that, Dan. It's part of your rhetoric if you're a fundy. It's claimed by Neil deGrasse Tyson. But yet, in spite of your belief in drift, you've sent me this. Guy not drifting. Well, thanks for telling me you still believe he drifts. So Dan believes he drifts. What a fuckwit. Dan, this guy's not drifting. You believe he is, do you? What? Am I supposed to know that you believe he's drifting a really small amount when it's clearly an example of someone not drifting? You really are thick, Dan. This is humiliating.
If there's no drift, then we can consider it's not drifting. Right?
If there's no drift, there's no drift. If P, then Q, P, therefore Q. Yeah.
If you wouldn't expect to see it, and so you can't see it, then how can you expect to see it?
If you can't see it and it's not to be seen, how would you expect to see it? You wouldn't. But you can believe in it. Dan's made that clear. He's told us the reference frames that are used to demonstrate drift have been ruined. He's made that very clear. They've been ruined. And now apparently I don't understand how a claim I don't make about reference frames and Neil deGrasse Tyson and all globe believers must adhere to because they believe in 2 reference frames, Earth turning underneath at 15 degrees an hour. They constantly quote Bob as allegedly proving that. But yet apparently that claim with 2 reference frames and Coriolis deviation, those frames of reference have been ruined, according to Dan. And his example of how they've been ruined is an example showing a man not drifting as something moves underneath. So he's not moving away from the tractor because the tractor moves underneath and he doesn't, which would mean that if you had a camera on the tractor, he would appear to drift away from the tractor when in reality he's just gone in the air and the tractor carried on going underneath. That would be an example that would be akin to not actual drift. But this isn't an example of that, Dan. This is very specifically an example of a man going up, leaving that frame of reference and not drifting. But yet you believe in drift, Dan. What gives?
So if we don't see it, we can treat it as if it's not drifting.
If we don't see it, we don't have to treat it as not drifting. It isn't drifting. Kind of like this guy here is not drifting. Maybe if you're a globe believer, you could believe he is drifting at a really small amount that wouldn't ever be a demonstration in this example. If you were trying to claim he was drifting, why would you show this? To ask me how I would show him drifting a small amount when it's not my claim? That's pretty weak, Dan. How would I expect to show your claim with different reference frames you say are ruined? I wouldn't. It's not my claim. It is Neil deGrasse Tyson's, though. He's got 2 reference frames you say are ruined. And he's got 15 degrees deviation as Earth turns underneath a football. And this tractor's not moving underneath the guy. He seems to be saying in the same reference frame and not drifting. Like Neil deGrasse Tyson's example with a ball that does drift. That you believe in? It's a big problem. Big problem, globe believers. The Coriolis bullshit days are over. Earth is not spinning. There is not 2 reference frames. Earth does not spin underneath anything not attached at 15 degrees an hour. There is no Earth-based Coriolis effect. The defence to say that it's all spinning together and there isn't a drift would fly in the face of the claim that there is. Now, Dan's fallen victim to this so many times, pointing out that Earth would turn underneath an aeroplane. He's tried to debunk that. No, it wouldn't. They can move together as one reference frame, no drift. Forgetting that they're the only one claiming there is drift. Earth isn't spinning. But Bob Nodell should be kissing Dan. Thank you, Dan. Everyone goes around saying I proved drift at 15 degrees an hour as Earth turned underneath the spinning gyro. That's what everyone says. Of course, they don't actually mention. They just say 15 degrees an hour as opposed to 15 degrees an hour as Earth turns underneath a spinning gyro. They don't say that. But that's what they're claiming. Earth turns underneath at 15 degrees an hour, giving you drift, 15 degrees of it, and they're all associating Bob with that bullshit. Oh, okay. Dan now is associated with no drift.